All right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Iowa State basketball here in College Hoops 2K8. We have 4 games left on the season. I'll be playing Texas A&M and Texas Tech. We'll be simming, of course, Missouri and Oklahoma. I can't remember if I did my recruiting stuff already. It's easy enough to do anyway. Hey Jameson, how's it going? Washington Redskins just gave up a 20-7. I heard about that. All right. I'll talk to them. You guys gotta email them. It is good that I can kind of get in on getting people, because I don't know what the 5-star kind of looks like right now, but I mean I can get in on some of these guys on the ground level as juniors. Gives me plenty of time to deal with their stuff. I enjoy that. There we go. I don't know about the 5-star guy, but I think the 4-star guys will be nice. And I think I can get, probably manage my way into a couple of them. We'll see. That's not something I even have to worry about till next year. That's kind of nice. I'm honestly wondering, because you get the progression from year to year. So if we're not losing anybody, that means we're only going to get better next year. And we're already the number 10 team in the nation. But you never know what happens. You never know what'll happen come tournament time. I think we got bounced in the Sweet 16. I think the Sweet 16 is as far as we've made it as with Iowa State so far. Hoops, and we got bounced by Iowa.
The Texas A&M Aggies battle the Iowa State Cyclones. This should be a whale of a game. Hi there, everyone. We're here at Hilton Coliseum.
Flavor meter up to a 4 out of 5. Just trying to deal with the
control the opening tip. We'll get this one started.
Yep.
Heinrich corrals the miss.
He's got to make that shot, Vern. No excuses.
Last basket on the mark.
It's weird because I'm paying less attention to football, I think, this year, mostly because of the fact that I don't have a fantasy football team. Whoop.
Backs in. Shoots the turnaround.
Whoops.
The shot
all right, I'll take that. I didn't mean to do that.
Now all knotted up.
See, I was still in later 2K mode with the dribble moves. So I tried to do a spin to get around him.
Shepard.
He was just standing there.
5-2. Styles passes way down court.
I have a tweet to like. JAV titles.
Kimbo snatches
That's
the
me with
rebound.
another fantastic.
Grabbed that rebound with his elbows high, using a little intimidation.
Scrucky backs him down.
Oh shit!
They push their lead to 5.
JAV titles is just a fantastic.
Schwartz.
It's always just how do Japanese porn titles? Is there a job for that? Because some of these Japanese porn titles are like 3 sentences.
Sure he gets a piece of the ball too. If he's going to foul him that late on an attempt.
Sometimes I like the ones that are just succinct and to the point.
Tacks on the free throw for the 3-point play. Scrucky inbounds the ball. About 10.5 minutes left in the half. Out left. Throws it up.
Oh, my goodness.
By Lampley. Stolen by Iowa State. Scrucky backs down. Hooked away. But it's recovered by Scrucky.
There you go. That works. No, it doesn't. What the fuck? What?
Coach Wilson wants to shake things up just a little bit and this could be an excellent move. The group of kids on the floor play with great chemistry.
Oh my God, it's been such a long friggin' weekend.
Not
I actually
loose.
woke
And
up
it's out of bounds. Last touch by Iowa State.
thinking it was Monday night. I was kind of happy at first because I was like, oh man, I'm well rested and feeling pretty good, and I finally got my weekend, and I'm like, oh shit, it's still Sunday. I got a whole nother day to go.
Catches the nice lead pass in stride and hits the layup. And we're all tied up 7.
It's all right. I took a nap because goddamn was I exhausted.
Pass outright. Peñazola shoots
Because I hung out with friends on Friday night, and I knew I had a friend who had a birthday party, like a gathering that we were going to do for his birthday on like a Saturday. I forgot which Saturday it was. Turns out it was this one. So I go there to do stuff on Friday, and then like as I'm leaving, they're like, oh, by the way, you're going to be here tomorrow, right? I'm like, what?
Thank you, Tracy.
You know, I'm just sitting here thinking like, wow, shit, all right, I'll just deal with the lack of sleep on a Friday night for right now. And they're like, oh, you're going to be here tomorrow, right? For what? Oh, no, it's his birthday. Ah, shit. So I get to do it all over again on Saturday. Except that time, I barely had enough time to maybe take a little bit of a nap because I also had union stuff as well. We have an annual union picnic with a lot of the union dues that get paid and all that. It's a really nice little celebration. A lot of food, some fun stuff for kids. It's great. And the fact they did it this year in September instead of July is nice because it's not 100 degrees.
Not a good entry pass,
But
Fern. You
fuck.
just can't force it in there.
Haha.
Hunt brings it up.
So yeah, it was.
Milton has it inside.
Oh, I thought he'd have it. Keenum's at least a competent QB. I would say that.
And he makes the first.
I'd say that as a Vikings
Are going to
fan. I
make
don't
some
know if people would say
substitutions.
that as a Broncos fan. Who's Keenum playing for now? And isn't Joe Flacco on another? Because that was oh no, it was something
well.
Jackson, isn't it? Who's the
inbounds the ball.
Ravens QB? Because I was talking about that with a coworker, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, the Ravens are I forget who the Ravens were playing, but they were
Gets
destroying
it
them,
top of
right?"
the key.
And he was like, "I think Flacco's still the
Left wing.
quarterback." I'm like, "I'm pretty sure Flacco went somewhere
Daly
else.
dumps it
I
off.
just can't
What
remember."
a pass. Schwartz beats it to the left wing. The triple was off the mark by
Washington.
Styles.
Okay. Oh,
They're
okay. So
still
that
out in
was the
front by
okay.
1. Milton has it baseline.
Up.
Backs down.
Spin it. Yeah.
Costello
Damn
yanks
it.
it down off the glass.
Flacco's with the Broncos. Okay.
Walters,
And Ravens killed Washington.
right side, passes it to
The
the
Vikings
elbow.
play this week. I
Schwartz hands it
assume.
off.
I didn't
Daly
even see.
pulls
I
the
didn't see
trigger,
much of the
drains it
scores.
for
I had
3.
real crap
He's
internet
got 3.
reception when I
The
was trying to look
Cyclones
shit up.
will take their first time out.
16 gig flash drive for $4. Oh my goodness. I remember the first thumb drive I ever had. 256 megabytes. Oh boy, did I feel like a champ. It was like $35, I think. I think I had started working at McDonald's at the time. Let's do shot selection. Vikings beat the
Getting set to
Falcons. Okay.
inbound the ball.
Well, that's good.
Timba inbounds the ball. It's a 4-point ball game.
Cousins actually had a good
Hunt
game. Huh?
hangs,
Well,
gets a piece of it.
That wasn't even
I'm not
going to
throw my pom-poms in the air for Kirk Cousins right this
I'd love
second.
to see that kind of help.
For the kind of money that we're paying him, he better have a
Catches
goddamn
it,
good
left
game.
block. That last shot was off from 11. Under 7 minutes
Oh,
left in
shit.
the half. Zivanovic.
Why didn't he
dumps
just
it
keep
off.
driving to the
Back
hoop?
Left side. Timba backs in. Walters gets called for blocking, and that's his first foul of the game.
You've got to establish position early if you're defending Mern, and he just didn't beat him to the spot.
Yeah, it felt like I felt like I guess it was more of a nerdy thing to actually have a thumb drive in high school. You know, in the mid-2000s, having a thumb drive wasn't a thing. There were people who were still like borrowing floppy disks from the library, you know, using them to put their Word documents on. I'm sitting there popping in a thumb drive, like, yeah.
Dishes it to the baseline.
Like I said, 256 megabytes for $35. Now you can get 16 gigs for $4.
That's how you do it. Keep the heat on. Wait for the misstep and then capitalize.
Releases.
I decided to take a break from fantasy this year. I think some of us in our league decided to take a break from fantasy this year. We've been doing it for like 6 straight years. But the guy who's in charge of it had been going through a divorce. But he'd been going through it since like January, and he just didn't think about activating the league at any point. He just sort of like let it go for a while. And then 2 days before what we were supposed to have for a draft, he like messages everyone. He's like, yo, draft is on Sunday. And it's like, we work. We could have taken some time off if you let us know like a month and a half ago, but you just reactivated the league 2 days before the draft and then told everyone about it right afterwards. So I think a lot of us were like, you know what? We've been doing it for like 6-7 years. We'll just, you know, take a break for a year, I guess. I was fitting to, you know, just doing one of my own, like taking the same guys and just being like, yo, if he's not going to be around, let's just do one with, you know, somebody else at the helm who doesn't have to worry about dealing with divorce anytime soon. So it wasn't so much I decided to take a break. It was our league kind of collectively decided to take a break because we didn't want to deal with the last-minute scheduling of everything.
Good shots will come if you don't rush them.
Dish down low.
Fuck.
The intercept. What great reflexes. He pounced in and picked that one off easily.
Daly gets it right wing. The offensive board gathered by Lampley.
Can you imagine being someone like I can only imagine what the fantasy leagues look like as far as Antonio Brown goes. Just like, do we draft him? Do we assume that he's going to actually play? What do we do? I'm assuming there's got a lot of people who at least would take him as a bench guy. Like, okay, we just assume that at some point he's going to play. I feel that you've done it for 8 straight years now and stuff. I've gotten old. Yeah. I've been trying to win the entire time. I haven't won yet. I've gotten close. I've gotten to some championship games. I think the closest I got was that my team kind of underperformed in the championship game. It came down to like the final. It was like a Monday night game. This is probably like 4 years ago or so. It came down to like a Monday night Packers game, and I think I was up by like 20 points or something like that. And I'm like, oh, the one guy that was left in the entire thing was Aaron Rodgers, and it's like, shit. Well, I've lost. I already conceded to losing. I already like told myself I was going to lose, and that just happened to be like the week 16 or 17 matchup where Rodgers just had the Packers just had a real shit game. I think he threw for like 90 yards or something in like the entire first half. He got picked off like 3 times. I was like, oh shit, stop giving me hope.
Costello grabs the rock.
Costello did a good job to grab that rebound. Perfect
Yesterday
position that
being
time.
you're on edge yesterday. I can imagine.
Heinrich hands it off. Puts it up. The three-point shot was offline by Schwartz. They're still down 9.
At least he's going to a good team. Oh, yeah. I think there's a lot of people
has
who
it
are like,
down
"Fuck,
low.
we're
They're
never
bringing
gonna,
the double team.
we're never gonna see our team win the Super Bowl for another 10 years."
Shepard catches it in the paint. Chewy lays it up and in. They bring their lead to 7. Texas A&M is really struggling to close down the middle. Tracy has something for us.
Whoops, that's not what I
Coach
meant to do.
Kennedy is definitely aware
Hey,
of
there's a
that
Heinrich.
problem. He told his assistants that they have to bring more defenders into the paint, even if it means leaving the perimeter open. Desperate measures here, Vern.
Thanks, Tracy.
How about defense?
Well, let's get back to the action.
At least we're starting to separate from get off the court. At least we're starting to separate from them a little bit. Every subsequent game is just going to be,
Inbounds the ball.
I don't know, it's just good. I'm going to be on edge because it's like, man, 17 game home win streak right now.
Schwartz feeds it to the left
I think the
wing.
most I've had so far is 19. Damn good home
Leads him
record.
in. Nice job
I
on the
don't
assist
want to.
by
I don't want to
Schwartz.
wreck that.
But they're still behind by 5. Dumps it to the paint. In the key.
Hey,
And they go up by 7.
caught him going way too early. Saw a video about NBA 2K20 because I was still kind of curious about it because I'm like, fuck,
The D was really waiting
you know,
for it there.
I kind of still want to maybe at least look into it.
Wait for the misstep.
And
then
yeah, it was
capitalize.
a couple things where it was like, yeah,
Gets it on the
it was
perimeter.
a guy who was
Shepard
basically
skips
confirming
it
they're
to
like,
the
yeah,
low
my
block.
league didn't
That
really
last
get
basket
anything
was
new.
buried by Timba.
So if you're like a
You have
my
to
league
keep
or my
your head
GM
up
player, you're
and
not
eyes open at all
really, you're
times
not really
playing
getting
with this
anything
guy.
new.
That's right.
They did
Never
everything
know
for like
when or
my
where he'll
team.
find you.
I'm like, ah, Christ, okay. Well,
Down
it
low.
was good while it lasted. I wonder if they're gonna go the Madden way, where it's just gonna be the same for like, we're like franchise mode. I think someone was saying like franchise mode for Madden 20 is practically the same thing as Madden like
Touchdown the first
17
one.
franchise
Both teams
mode.
are making
It's
substitutions.
just been kind of the same for like 4 years now. I wonder if NBA is going to start going that way and then just lean so heavily into
He gets them both.
into
Inbounds
my
the
team
ball. 1:01 left in the first half.
and maybe some my career.
Backs in.
Oh,
Hooks
shit.
free. And it's gathered up by Walters.
I like how he gets himself into defensive position.
At the right place, at the right time yet again.
I got him. Go ahead,
Lampley.
pass to him. Oh shit!
They rule this one goaltender.
Ah,
Count the
damn
shot.
it! I figured.
The Cyclones are going to burn a few seconds off the clock. 4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
Hey,
What a strong finish. He'll have a chance to make it a three-point play. Costello didn't
that
sit long,
broke
and he's coming back into the
physics.
ball game.
That broke physics.
No good. And they don't
That's
get
all
the
right.
three-point
You know what? The
play.
money that I save on that, I can put towards other football games I want. And put that towards Maximum Football,
Lampley
which
catches it.
should
High
come out
post.
by the end of the month. I haven't seen a concrete date for it yet. I did see Access
Bounce pass
19
to the
on
elbow.
Steam, and that was
Styles.
that. I assume a concrete date is September 18th.
Schwartz
I haven't
swings
seen
it to
them
the wing.
officially
Corner.
announce a release date, but on the Steam page it says like September 18th. So
Texas A&M is
that's what
having
I'm going
big
with.
problems
Oh, shit.
from beyond the arc. And
Yeah,
I
that's
think
all right.
Tracy has something for us on that. Tracy?
my
Coach
career is the
Kennedy
combine
gathered
now.
his guys
I
on the
actually heard a
sidelines
lot
a few
of
minutes ago
that
and
was
told them
something
to
that kind of
forget about their
interested
last
me.
shot and work hard to get open
And
for
I
their
wa-
next
and I
one.
am
He
interested
said,
in
"Keep
that.
shooting,
Uh-oh.
the shots will start to fall."
Thanks, Tracy. We'll head into the
Okay,
break.
there we go.
The score 32-25.
Although I will say, there's a lot of people that I've
Give us your opinion on
heard
the first half, Bill.
talk
Well, I
about
don't
it. Now
wanna
maybe
rule out the
they're not the
possibility of a
best.
comeback, Vern. It hasn't
Wow,
been
I didn't know
pretty
they've
so
tried
far,
10
but there
three-point
is
field goals
plenty
so
of
far.
time.
Timba is just killing it for us, man.
Now we'll bring you our player of the half. Who's your pick, Bill?
But
Is the guy for me,
I've
Vern.
I've kind of
Look
been
at this
interested in
scoring
something like that
display.
because I think
He
I've
hasn't
talked
been
about
afraid
it
to put
before.
on the
It's
deck
like, man,
and take it
I
to
would
the tin
love an
or pull
old
up from
school
deep and
2K11 style. I've talked about that. I want an offline 2K11 style my career, where you go through the combine, you go through some games to raise your draft stock, and then you can get drafted. And like, if you don't do that, like if you end up as like a second round pick, you can get thrown into the G League. Spend some time in the G League. I don't know. I always liked that, where even if you were like a top level guy in like MLB The Show, you still had to work your way through the AA and AAA. Now, of course, a top prospect isn't going to end up in the G League at all. In fact, they might start on an NBA
During
team
halftime, I
as a
talked
rookie.
with Coach Wilson. He told me
depending
that
on
he
the team.
thinks it is going to take a different approach to the staff for them to hold on to
Now,
this lead.
maybe
He
it's
went
just
on to
people who
say
don't
that
want to
he
have
wasn't
to
going
deal
mix
with
up
it,
his
but I've heard
rotation.
that the
Even though he
combine
knows
is
he has
kind
talent on
of
the ends of his
icky.
bench, he felt that the players he used in the first half give him the
Once
best
again, that might
chance
just
of
be
winning
people
this game,
who
and he won't
it
stray from
might
that
just
game
be
plan.
people
Back to
who
you.
Thanks, Tracy.
have a
Styles.
certain way that they want things, and
Feeds it to
the
high
draft
post.
combine makes it
Hands
harder.
it off. Styles
So who
fires.
knows exactly?
Misses the long one. Shepard. Peñazola passes it to the high post.
Go.
Here's the double team.
Hey, got the foul.
And he makes the first.
So yeah, I'm wondering. Someone was saying that they were probably thinking
Gets
that
them both.
they weren't putting the G League back
Inbounds the
in.
ball.
They weren't going to do like a full G League thing coming back in until maybe all teams, because I think it's down to like the Blazers and somebody else.
Dicey
It's only down to like
Shot
two teams that are
inside,
left that
drained
don't
by
have a G
Walters.
League team.
He's 1 for
So they're
4
like,
for the
oh
game.
well, they're
Leads it
probably
with the
waiting.
pass.
I don't know
It's
why.
blocked.
Oh, what a block. Get it out of here.
My career does have first round and second round as an
Heinrich,
undrafted.
here's the
Depending on
spin
how you
move.
do in the combine, you're not sure, but that's what I saw. I'd seen something like that, but also I'm kind of wondering. Whoops. I'm kind of wondering.
Scrucky raises
how
up. Scrucky
easy it is
pulls
to
it
end
in.
up as a
Hammered in on that last dunk.
Big height
You know,
disadvantage for the D there. No wonder
top
he got dunked
prospect.
on.
It'd be interesting
Has it in the
if.
middle with the shot.
I always liked the little showcase games they used to have in the
They
old
leave a shooter like
2Ks.
him open next time, believe
Old
me,
2Ks is in
he's
like,
gonna make them pay
2K11,
for it.
12,
Dishes,
stuff like
baseline.
that.
Peñazola.
Where you went through a certain
Gets
set
it
of
out left.
games and then I
About
got
9.5
robbed.
minutes left in the second half.
You went through a certain set of games and you had to do pretty good
Schwartz
to
feeds it to the left wing.
to get
Leads
a
him with
really
the
high
pass.
draft pick,
Tosses it
because
up.
most
Gets
of the
the jumper.
time
Iowa State
you couldn't,
calls time.
like, you had to be like super exceptional to even break through the top 10. Most of the time you're like a lottery. Let's work on defense.
Getting set to inbound the ball. The Cyclones will bring out some reserves. Zivanovic.
I don't like the
inbounds
fact
ball.
that
There's no
I've
question
been doing
what
so
kind of
well as
defense
far
they're
as
in,
my
Vern.
um,
Minimum.
Kimba
Jesus.
didn't watch his feet.
as far as
and
my
steps on the line.
allergies and
We're
stuff
going
has
the
been
other way.
concerned, but
It was too late when he realized he was on the line. You've got to be a little more heads up.
the
Vern.
last few
Texas
hours,
A&M
not even
is
today,
really
but the last
struggling.
few hours, it's just like, yeah, no, we're gonna
Inside.
gonna put a lot of more
Styles
gunk back in
hooked
your
loose,
throat.
but it's
Oh
recovered by
God,
Styles. Can't get the
boy,
layup.
I feel glad that we
Put
managed to
anything
make him
weak
do
up
that
like that.
twice.
I'm sure his coach will be telling him that. Timba backs him down. Timba is called for the charge, and they'll turn it over.
Really?
How about the job by the defender there?
That was a
Way to step
flop
in front and
job.
take-
I want to see that. I want to see that flop again. Check out this flopperoo. Here he comes. Whoop. Oh, look at that. Look at that shit. That's some bullshit. Oh my goodness. Here he comes. Ah. Look at that. What? There wasn't. I'm trying to look. Oh, this dude. God damn you.
The charge, young fella.
What the fuck?
Texas A&M may have made some changes just now.
Hey, Jack,
Tracy
what's
Wilson
up?
has
I'm
something
just
for us
busy
from near their bench.
yelling at the
Aggies just had an
referees for
impromptu coaches meeting, Vern.
giving
They feel
it
like they
giving
haven't been
an
getting their
obvious
shots off
flop
quick
job
enough, so look
a
for them to really pick up
the
the
foul.
pace on these next few times up the court.
He got fouled and still almost made it. He'll go to the line for 2 shots.
the rookie showcase of the summer circuit. I guess
Heinrich
both.
is down on the floor, and it looks like
Both
he
are
may have
pretty
injured his
good.
leg. Yeah, he's
I
definitely
think the rookie
hurt.
showcase
That's too
was
bad,
one of the
Vern,
was probably
but
the
I'm
big
sure
one I
we'll
was
see him
thinking
back
of.
on the court as soon as he's ready.
We'll stay on it and try to get an update on his condition just as soon as it becomes available.
I saw a video of a guy going back to like play NBA 2K11 and do rookie showcase. And like
Gets the
I feel
second
like it's
ball
one of
as
those
well.
things a lot of
Wilson
people
inbounds
forget
the
just
ball.
how fucking insanely hard it was
Passes to the elbow.
to get a really
Chuisi
good grade in that
backs
game.
in.
Cause like
Count it.
it was
And
one of
he'll
those
have a
things where
chance
like
for a three-point
it,
play.
like
He's
there
either
if
gotta
there's a
foul
meter
hard or don't
to
foul
the
at
next
all.
grade,
You can't just
like
give
an
up
assist will
easy
move your
three-point
meter
plays.
up like 20% of the bar, but like a personal foul will take you down like 2 full
Tax on
letter
the free throw
grades.
for the three-point
It's
play.
ridiculous. Like you might be a B plus, you'll go down to a B
About
minus
8.5
if you have a
minutes
bad
left in the
foul.
second half.
It was crazy. Those like 2K11, 12, 13, those are like hardcore with
Dishes it
the
to the right block. Walters, count the basket. and
with the
foul.
Terrific
letter
work
grades
to
in it.
absorb the contact, hang in the air, and hit the shot.
I like how when he
Pretty
pivoted
hard.
off the guy, by the way, when he flopped forward instead of backward. He started a little like a 30. Oh, yeah.
He can't come away with a three-point play.
I enjoyed the fact, now, obviously, they can't do that for,
Chuisi
like,
backs
anymore.
down. The shot
To do like a
down
my
low.
career
Off the backboard
with
and
an actual player
got
just
9.
because of how
Texas
ingrained.
A&M
This is why
is
I'm a
really
big fan of the idea of putting my career as like an offline and an online, because I used to love the creating a legend, which was
Layup
wow,
catches
Milton
it
just got
right
fucking
block.
flattened.
Up and in on that last layup.
Which was, you know,
Wilson
you could
inbounds the
take
ball.
an actual
First-class
NBA
body
player
control. Not
on
a
the
lot of
on a
players have that
roster,
kind of style.
or you
And
could
he
take a
seems to
legendary
do it
player and
every
put them
time.
on, you know, the recent roster, and then just use them, and then you can build up their
About
their
7.5
stats
minutes left in the second
and
half.
you know, abilities based off where they're at right there.
Styles. Daly beats it to the left side.
That was pretty cool.
Chuisi reels it in. He'll make that one
Grading
most
system
of
is
the time.
insane.
Well,
Yeah,
the D
it
got
was.
a break on
I
that
remember
one.
how
Heinrich
difficult
was
it
hurt
was
earlier
to get
on.
like an A in
And
that
Tracy
game.
Wilson has checked on his condition and
It
has
was
this update.
crazy.
Tracy?
Vern, the team doctor told me that he strained his hamstring and they've been using some ice to reduce the swelling. He's been cleared to return if necessary. We'll see if they give him the go-ahead to get back on the floor. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Tracy. Passes it to the high post.
But yeah.
Styles. Daly
I had
catches
a-
it.
I had
left
a
wing.
friend,
That shot was buried for
Of
three.
mine
That's a great
that
shot.
I go play
His
cards
man
with
didn't give
on
much room,
Tuesdays.
though, but he was still
Show
able to
me
knock it down.
Last
a
shot
game
dumped
that's
down
coming
by
out on the
Chuisi.
Switch. Now,
Schwartz brings it up the floor.
I think the PC and Switch have two different release dates, because I originally saw September 6th, and I was excited because I was looking at the
He's 3
eShop
for
to try
4
to
from
find
deep.
it. As it turns out, it's actually not out yet on the Switch. It's like September 10th.
Pass. High post. Backs down.
But I'm definitely playing it,
Simonovic,
and it's
his first
definitely
shot.
going to be.
It drops. And they now go up by 8.
I don't know how to.
Tipped
I don't know
away.
how to
And it's
describe it.
scooped up
It's going to
by
be
Hunt.
one of those
Gets it on the low
games.
block.
It's going to be one of those games where you
Shoots from the post.
probably
Got
will
the
think
bucket
slightly
and the
less of
foul.
me
He'll go to the line for a chance at a 3-point
after
play.
playing it. Single turnover, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh man, I always hated having late
Foul
turnovers,
shot is good for a 3-point
because
play.
like it would be one of those things. It's like you need a teammate grade of A minus
Lampley inbounds the ball. Texas A&M
or better,
is really
and like I'd be
struggling.
grinding the
Texas
whole
A&M
game,
calls
and I'd
timeout.
just barely be in the A minus thing, and then with like 30 seconds left, I'll somehow like either take a bad shot or do a bad attempt at a block, or God forbid, even get the ball swiped from me, and it would and I'd be right back down to like a solid B, and it's like, fuck. Let's keep going with defense.
Well, it looks like they're getting set to inbound the ball.
Yeah. That's why when people are just like, why are you playing? No one really does it with college hoops, because there's at least an understanding that this is the last like 2K college hoops game. So like,
They pulled off a
there's at least an
tremendous
understanding
inbounds
with
play,
that. But I
and they
still,
were able to
occasionally
their
get the
deuce.
people, why are you playing NBA
Everything clicked on that
2K14? Have you played the new
Chewy
ones?
backs him down. Far side.
And the gameplay in and of itself on the new ones ain't bad.
Chewy
Like, they're very solid. It's just, this is the first time in 10 years I haven't bought the game.
He's got 10.
I wasn't going to get it last year, but they announced a bunch of changes from my league and my GM, some additions that make things look nice. And yeah, it was, they didn't announce anything new this year for it, so I'm like, all right.
16 points, and he leads all
And then I find a video that says that they really didn't add anything or put anything new in, so I'm like, okay, cool. That pretty much solidifies my idea that I'm not gonna get it. Hey,
Chewy with the teardrop hits the layup. They're ahead. 58.
That's why I don't mind supporting it when you talk about Madden. That's why I don't mind supporting Axis and Maximum Football. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. Far from it.
And they're now behind by 8.
But I can buy, because I'm pretty sure if the prices stay the way they've been, I'll be able to buy Maximum and Axis Football for $50. So, brand new game of Madden is $60, so for $10 less, I can get 2 complete experiences of both college and professional football.
Walters inbounds the ball.
And yeah, like, it's been one of those things where everyone is getting really high on the Maximum Football deal with college football. And I don't blame them, because it's college football. Ah, fuck you. But a lot of the stuff that Axis has put out for their franchise mode is just ridiculous. It's like, oh shit, you got all the full coaching staff that you have to deal with, and
they rule this one goaltending. Count the shot.
A lot of the finances that you can deal with when it comes to upgrading stadiums and facilities, and it actually means quite a bit to your players to do so. What the fuck? Madden 12 for $2. Yeah, that's what that was one thing that I did. One thing that I did when I got my PS3 was pick up a copy of Madden 12 for the PS3. And it's like, damn, this is a fun little game. It's like I forgot how much I really enjoyed this game. And you can customize teams in it too. They give you a bunch of logos, and you can customize teams and colors and stadiums. You weren't just stuck with like a generic, come on, take a back step. I was really hoping for a backcourt.
1-on-1.
You're thinking Dragon Gate's back on the table, also All Japan? I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
He makes the first.
Yeah, you're not gonna get any like you're not gonna get any real guff from me about that, where it's like,
Gets it left side, bounces it off the
there
left
we go.
rim. Then
You don't want to spend $200 on train
16
tickets
points,
alone.
and he's
That
the
makes a
top
lot of
scorer for his
sense.
team.
Yeah, I could see
2:38
that.
left in the game. Schwartz passes it to the right.
Also, the extra money they
backs down.
spend on a B&B.
With the shot, the 16-footer was canned by
I'm
Lampley.
not
But they're
opposed to
still
that.
down by 10.
Fuck you.
Stolen away by Styles. Walters for 3. Good. They've got it within 7.
Also, probably will be going to a Dragon Gate show might be less sad than going to. And here we see the one of the remaining buildings
But it's recovered by
of
Timbo.
Kyoto
Dishes
Animation.
it to the free throw line. Here comes the double team. Hunt catches it. Right
Wow,
lane.
why do you just let him so?
Last
Okay,
shot
now I
missed
see
from
that.
three-point range. That last
Hey.
inside shot buried by Sparky. Lampley inbounds the ball.
Yeah, if you spend you can save that money and
Leaves no room for
spend it on
error,
Dragon
no
Gate
room
tickets.
for anybody to do anything about it. The last layup was dropped in by Heinrich.
that was a powerful rebound. It was.
Bold pass. Releases.
Just shoot
Gets
over
it
him.
to go,
Fuck it.
and he's got a chance to add one more.
He put his all into that
Wants to
rebound.
close this thing out, Vernon. Plays like that one will do just that.
Schwartz way up court. Lampley sent
Ah.
away violently.
He tried doing the same thing I just did to him with
Down low.
Scrocky.
Checks is like
Yeah, I'm
that
going to do it
already.
again. I'm
Bread
just going
and
to
butter.
shoot over him. Oh, shit.
Reeled in by Timba. The Cyclones
Damn it.
were the last ones to touch it.
Who touched
and they'll
it?
Turn it over.
We did.
The student section is whooping it up now. How much fun are they having?
It can give you goosebumps to hear those kids when they really get
Uh,
going. That is
was that
quite
just
good.
airballed? Was that like a super airball right there?
Scrucky backs in. Passes to the elbow. Peñazola.
Oh, this is a long one.
Scrucky pulls it down. This crowd
There we go.
couldn't be any happier. Just listen to the people in this building.
There we
Texas
go.
A&M with the ball.
I mean, it's definitely
Lead
game
Vern.
at this point.
They play
Jesus.
smart, they can walk away with the win.
That last three ball was drained by Schwartz.
I'm glad that shit didn't
Inbounds
bounce
the
their
ball.
way like
The
that last
disparity in threes
earlier
is
in the game.
tremendous.
Oh.
They're just shooting the lights out.
And their opponents simply cannot keep up. Styles inside on the money. Great defensive
SB
play
Nation
leads to
presents
a
the
quick
worst
bucket.
NCAA
Aggressive D like that
basketball
can shift
collapse.
momentum on you in a hurry. I can appreciate their willingness to keep battling, Vern.
We're trying
but I
to
think it's too late to
outdo
save the game.
Northern
Fouling
Iowa's
isn't going to do them any good
Northern
anymore.
Iowa's tournament collapse.
Peñazola from
that was
long
early.
range. He rips
That's
down
all
the
right.
rebound. Leads him in. Stops
God
and
damn.
pumps. Nothing but net. A little medium range magic there.
He doesn't need more than an inch. I can appreciate their willingness to keep battling, Vern, but I think it's too late to save the game. Fouling isn't going to do them any good anymore.
Intercepted.
Oh my God.
The
Can we
crossover.
not?
Heinrich releases. It's money from deep.
Their offense
Okay,
has caught
time to
fire.
play it safe,
If this
Tyler.
keeps up,
Holy
they won't be
shit.
trailing for long.
Styles fouls him. Bonus situation in effect. So they'll hit the
Okay.
line for a 1-and-1.
Things were getting bad there. There was,
There's
oh
nothing worse
God
than
Almighty!
front end of a one-on-one
Gah.
stage. You can
Oh.
feel the points slipping through your fingers.
Schwartz lets it go. Can't get it. And that's all for this one.
Just to rub salt in the
The
wound, he just like
Cyclones
swishes the
beat
full
Texas
court
A&M
shot.
70.
Okay, that was too close. That was too close for comfort. How about next time I just let them foul me? All right, hang on. 18. 53-5. I mean, we kept the streak alive and we stayed there, but Jesus. All right, Missouri. Let's see here. There's another win. Yay, and I'm finally done with recruiting, even though recruiting was like super simple anyway. No. We get to move up. Hey, number 7. All right, number 7 taking on Texas Tech in our final official home game. They are a 90 overall, strong offense. Rebounding isn't as strong as ours. Neither is their defense, but it's just barely. Their coach is a little bit worse than me. I want to end on a strong note. I'm trying to think. All right, we're not going to see the tournament tree, the conference tournament tree, until after these games. So I'm trying to think I get a bye if I'm high enough on the standings. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Is the 1 and 2 seeds get a bye? Because that'd be really nice. I wouldn't have to worry about no 3 games. I just want to see this. Yeah, because we're 13-1. Worst case scenarios, we lose our next 2 games. We'll still be like second in the conference. So I'm not real worried there. All right, we're right up there with some of them. Why is Texas 19-6 and they're higher than us? We even beat them. There's no reason. Although I do like all the Big 12 teams just kind of hanging out towards the towards that. Let's see, projected brackets. Where do they have us sitting right now? I see Iowa, number 11. We are projected to be a number 1 seed. That would be insane. That would be absolutely insane to grab a number 1 seed. All right, let's get this last home game done.
It's time for college hoops on 2K Sports. The Texas Tech
Well,
Red
Draft Day
Raiders
Sports
go
Pro
up
Football
against the
2020.
Iowa State
Trying to get
Cyclones.
into Texas Sports
This one
Sports
promises
games.
to be a real battle.
I've kind of done that. It's not too bad. Oh, God, these Texas Tech uniforms were awful.
Iowa State wins the tip-off, and the game is underway. Scrucky to the bucket. Count it.
There you go.
And he'll have a chance for the three-point play.
Do they really have these uniforms? These are awful uniforms for Texas Tech. I don't know. Something about them is just, I don't like the aesthetic.
Bounces it to the free throw line. From 18 feet away. No good. By Cruz. How did he miss that one?
It happens. He's just got to shake it off and
Hey, ah,
Last
shit.
three-pointer was missed by Peñazola. Takes a three.
There you go. Try it again.
Scrucky
Ah,
reels
fuck
in
it.
the
All right.
offensive rebound. That last shot was dunked down.
All right, that works.
Inbounds the ball.
Hang on. I'm gonna drop the volume down just a smidge. It already, out of 100, it's already at like 7.
play of the game.
Just drop it down to 6 because it's kind of a loud game.
Graves. Dishes it to the baseline.
Oh.
Dishes. Corner. Cruz throws it up. Drops it in
Wow.
from
I
beyond
really
the arc.
didn't think he was just going to
They
hit
narrow
that.
the gap to 2. Hunt passes it up court. Timba gets it left wing.
All right,
For
let's see you
three.
do it this time.
Oh,
There you
nice shot
go.
by Peñazola.
You got it that
1 for 3
time.
from downtown.
Ah, that was. How did he not just catch that? No. I was right in the way there. He should have. There you go. We're forcing him to make some goofy passes here. I like this. Don't let him really get set on us.
Cruz beats it to the left wing. They're going to have to hurry.
Oh,
Misfired
okay.
on that last 3 by Faust. Hunt brings it up the floor.
He might have been thrown off by how wide open he was.
Nope. There we
Scrucky
go.
double clutches.
Ah.
Can't get the layup. But they still lead by 5.
Jesus.
Opong
I
catches
just
it
bought
left
I
side.
just bought a
Passes
game
back, top of
on
the key.
the
Graves.
Switch eShop. Oh, what was
Dishes
it?
it to the left.
Oh, no
Takes it
reload
down
heroes.
inside.
It looks pretty
Under 10
cool.
minutes
It looks
left
like a
in the
nice
half.
little
Shepard
twin
dumps it off.
stick
Hunt went after that
shooter
rebound
dungeon
hard. Great
crawler, and it's co-op.
To the elbow. Passes it to the wing.
Yeah, it looks really
It's the
cool.
tray.
And it was 99 cents.
He's
It's
got
like
three.
it's normally
The Texas
$10,
Tech
but it was
coach
on sale for
is gonna
99
let his team
cents. So I'm
have
like,
it.
yeah,
He
fuck
just
it, why
can't
not?
be happy with the run that they've had just now.
They always miss the 3 the first possession. Interesting. Seems like it. Maybe not with
Well, let's get
9:28
back to
left.
the action.
Maybe
Milton
maybe a little
makes his
bit
first
later.
appearance. Opon inbounds
Man,
the
I had
ball.
convinced
Let's check in
myself
with our
this
sideline
morning
reporter,
and
Tracy
last night.
Wilson.
I convinced myself
Has some
both
info
last night
for
and
us.
this
Just
morning that
before
I
the
was going
game,
to
I
call into
talked
work
to
today and
Coach
tomorrow.
Wilson. He said he has great confidence in his players'
And
defensive ability. They have been
I was gonna
concentrating
call
on
in,
pressuring the ball, and he's
and
fairly
I even
certain that they'll
dialed the
be able to
number
force quite a
for
few
the automated
turnovers
deal.
and create some opportunities for easy buckets
And,
today, guys.
Thank you, Tracy.
Ended up hanging up because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get some sleep,
Sweet.
and I'll
He put
probably
that
do it at
bounce
6 in the
pass
morning.
right in his hip
I'll see how I
He has
feel.
great court sense. That
And
last dunk was slammed down
I
by
told
Milton.
myself I was probably gonna do it then when I woke up, just to be sure, you know. And sure enough, I managed to convince myself to actually go into work.
Harton.
I just felt like absolute garbage yesterday. Today I feel better, probably because I actually took some naps and got at least a little bit of sleep. But yeah, Saturday wasn't fun.
Puts it up. The tray was missed by Harton.
And I was like,
Just
well,
over 8
if I
minutes left in the
have
half.
paid
make
sick
that one
leave,
most of
I'm
the
going to
time.
use the paid
Well, the
sick
D
leave.
got a break on that one.
Peñazola
Everyone else does.
can't extend the lead to double digits. They still have a
Yeah.
7-point lead.
It wasn't
They're
too
set up
bad
in
today.
minute.
I basically told my coworkers, I'm like, I was gonna call in.
Catches it outright.
Let's see how many times I regret it today.
Graves tosses it up. Misses with the D in his face. They're still down 8. Shepard passes it
Whoops.
to the left wing. The steal by Cruz.
Oh, the quick hands. Before they even knew what hit them, he made off with that one.
Iowa State takes its first time out of the game.
I'm gonna say hi, and I'm gonna try to find a very simple way. Is it Dinbear? Dinbear? I'd assume Dinbear. Fuck. I don't know what happened right there. Jesus. This is why I have the cough drops like near me.
They're getting set to inbound the ball.
Apologies.
Coach Wilson is shaking
I'm not very
things
quick
up,
on
and this
trying to
could
get
spell
to the,
trouble for the other team.
Trying to get to
This
the mute
group has
button.
a lot of team chemistry.
Under
I was
8
gonna
minutes
put one
left
on
in the
my
half.
Stream Deck, but it looked like it
Out
was
left. Takes
like
it up.
just it was
Got the
too
hoop for
much to
foul,
try to put a
and he'll go to the line.
mute button on
I
my
love
mic
the
on Stream Deck.
strength. He fought through the foul, no problem. And that'll give him the 3-point
I should
lead.
just
The Texas Tech
I
coach
should just find a
is
way
going
to
put some
I
new
guess
players on the floor, and I
I
think
guess
that's a
my
wise
actual
move.
interface
The
probably
guys
has
he's
one.
going with really play well together.
But everything's set so particularly already.
Backs on the
The
free
last thing I
throw for
want
the
to do
three-point
is
play. Cruz
mess with
inbounds
any
the
of
ball.
the settings I already have on my USB interface.
Emerson behind
shit.
the arc. Graves reels it in. Connects inside the key. And they're now behind by 6. Takes it up. Sunk.
Hey, look at that.
And they now go up by 8.
Fucking Scrocky just kind of floating it in there. He's definitely going to be the player of the half. I could feel it. He's been doing quite well.
Bounces it to the high post. Graves launches it. Connects. But they're still down by 5. Under 7 minutes left in the half. It's
I
deflected.
probably
The
should have done it a little bit
Cyclones will
earlier.
retain possession.
That's all right. Point cam. Oh, hang on.
Hunt on the inbound.
Ah,
play.
shit.
But it's retrieved by Shepard.
Great offensive rebound. He works so hard to establish position.
I see the joke. I just
Nice
need to.
lay in off the glass by Scrucky.
Your old name, your new name
They're in
is Mr.
front,
Chubby Chuckles.
20-13.
I'm pretty sure that's also my
Swings it to
name.
the right wing. Feeds left wing.
Old Chubby Chuckles.
Graves. To the paint. Emerson shoots.
Shit.
Can't get
There
it
we
to
go.
fall from 15.
That's how you do it, Vern. Clear that space under the glass and
But
pounce
yeah,
on that rebound.
today was one of those
Beat it to
days when I
right.
woke up
Milton
and I
backs down.
decided I was gonna.
Takes a
Oh
bad
shit!
bounce and goes out of
And I
bounds.
decided I was going to. I was gonna actually go to work. I was literally counting down. I'm like, I'm in my
inbounds the
car,
ball.
on my way to work, and I go, okay, I got roughly
Emerson
nine
passes
and
to
a
the
half
right. Puts it
hours
up. Grabbed by
of
Strucky.
energy I
The big
have to
fella with a
have.
tough rebound.
That's all I
No
need.
denying him on that one.
'Cause as soon as I get home, I can take a nap, and
Bounce
that
pass,
is
left
what I
side.
did. Tell you what, that was great.
Strucky backs him
I
down.
even talked to my roommate. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like,
Gets it right
I
wing.
thought you were gonna call in sick."
Nailed
I'm
from
like, "Nah, I
three-point
decided to
range
actually
by
go to work."
Shepard.
Speaking
5-10.
of, I'm taking a nap.
Schneider wasn't watching the line there. That's going to
Hey.
be over and back.
He just lost track of where he was on the floor, Vern. You have to be able to dribble with your head up or things like this happen.
Strucky backs in.
There we go.
Peñasola fires. Hits the
I
three-pointer.
don't know exactly
Texas Tech coach
what I'm
doesn't
going
look
to do
happy.
after. I
He's
want to
gonna
do
try and turn
something.
things around with this time
I
out.
have things I want to do after this. Let's do defense. You know, it'd be kind of
Getting
neat.
set to inbound the ball.
It'd probably be a shorter thing,
Opal
but I wouldn't
inbounds the
mind
ball.
doing NBA 2K14 like that last game. It's like I have
Picks
one
it up.
game, and then I have
Nearly had a chance for a three-point play, but he'll go to
an
the line
off
for
season
two.
to deal with. I don't know.
And he makes the
I
first.
wish I wasn't at a point where now it takes me like 2 hours to do a week's
Gets
worth
the
of shows for Hawkeye Pro. It's one of the things. It's
Right
like,
around
damn it.
5 minutes left in the half.
Uh-oh.
Strucky passes it up. court.
Uh-oh.
Stolen by Texas Tech.
I'd love to see that. He was
Find
lurking
yourself
around
wanting
then
to take a
pounced.
nap after work.
Such
Me
a
too.
thief, Vern.
You know what was
Schneider
amazing is that
tosses
for
it
the
up,
longest
nails it
time I
from
was
the
one of
elbow.
those people,
They make it
and
a
I have
single-digit
coworkers
game.
like
They're gonna
that where
apply
they're
some
like, "Yo,
pressure here and with
oh
full
my
court
god, my
minimum.
throat." Where they're like,
middle.
"Yeah, I can't
Backs
ever
in.
take a nap. I
Open
either
look.
just sleep or don't sleep."
Ripped down inside by
And I was the
Strucky.
same way for the
Strucky
longest
Didn't
time.
get that rebound by accident.
And
He knew right where
I
to
had
be.
my parents that
Leads him
always
in.
just said to me, they're like,
Hart hits the
that
layup.
the two
got
things
two.
that they were
Strucky
always that they
inbounds
were
the
right
ball.
about
Peñasola brings it up the floor.
was that the two things that I knew
Lobs
they
it
were
to
going
the
to be
top
right
of the
about
key.
as an adult,
Strucky
because they
bangs.
always, I
Finishes
didn't
in
like
close.
coffee, of course,
They push the lead to 9.
when I
Texas
was like
Tech has
younger,
had serious
because like I,
problems with their interior defense.
when I was when
Tracy
you're a
has a
kid,
report
your
from their
parents
bench.
get
Red
something
Raiders
that's
coach
new
is
and
definitely
exciting, and
aware
then
of
you
that problem. He
so
told
they
his
got like an
assistants
iced
that they have
coffee,
to
and they're
bring
like,
more defenders into the
you
paint, even if
you
it means
might not
leaving
like the taste of
perimeter
coffee
open.
now, but you're gonna like it
Desperate measures
later.
here, Vern.
Thanks,
They're
Tracy.
right.
The shot from beyond the arc was no good.
I
by
certainly
Cole.
enjoy
Under 4 minutes left
a
in the
good.
half.
When a
I think
shot
I
like
enjoy
that
the
comes around,
caffeine more than
you've
the
gotta
actual
hit it.
coffee
They
part,
just
but
dared him to
you
shoot,
know,
but it's recovered
they weren't
by
wrong
Strucky.
about the coffee thing. And then the other thing was afternoon naps. That was a thing that I was told that I would probably find enjoyment in. And I was like,
Schneider
yeah,
has
no,
it
I
top
can't
of the
really
key.
do it. I either just sleep or don't sleep.
Dumps it
Well,
off.
as I've gotten a little bit older, just in the last, it's probably literally something that I've started doing in
Schneider.
the last, like, just a year
Takes
or
the
two.
shot. The long bomb
Just the
hit by
idea
Hart.
of coming
The
home
Cyclones
and just taking
call
a nap.
timeout. Well,
And
let's
I'm
get
like,
back to
okay,
the
it moves my
Both teams are
it
going
moves
to
my
make some
sleep schedule
substitutions.
now, because it's midnight. Under normal circumstance, I don't take a nap every
Milton
day,
inbounds the
but
ball.
it does move my sleep schedule over a little
Peñasola
bit.
passes it to the right
So
side.
instead of going to bed
Hunt releases.
where
Milton
I'd be in
falls
bed by
the
this
board.
point,
What an
I'll go to
offensive
bed
rebound.
within the
He's
next
doing
couple
work on the
hours.
glass at both ends.
And they're now up by 10.
You wish you liked coffee? I don't mind it. I don't like black coffee. I gotta have some creamer,
The free throw line.
other
Skips it to
things
the
in
left
there. And
side.
I have to have something that's not straight coffee flavor. So, in that regard, I don't really like coffee, but I do like flavored
Great.
coffee. As long as there's like creamer in it, then I'll do it. You like
Throws it
dessert
up.
coffee? Yeah, that's
No look
probably
with a
that's
three-pointer
probably a
by
good way
Cruz.
of describing
2:17 left in the first
what
half.
I enjoy. Is
Shepherd
dessert
backs down.
coffee.
Milton goes up. O'Pong
Hey!
gets the whistle for
Oh, that
blocking,
doesn't
and
count.
That's his first foul of the game.
Definitely a block. Just got a little too
You
physical.
feel spoiled for
trying to draw
graphics
the
now. You like
charge.
to go back to a PS3 360 game, but I don't know, nostalgia. I think it's because I play games like this
Kimba
that I just
inbounds
kind
the
of get
ball.
used to it.
Milton gets it.
Then again,
Milton
I've
loose.
never been a
And he
super
goes out of
graphics
bounds. Last
guy.
touch by Texas Tech.
I've never been like super into. I like good solid graphics. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy things looking good. But if they don't play good, then I don't really give a
Milton
shit.
goes up. Nice dish by Hunt. They lead.
You know, I get
34
more
to
enjoyment
22.
out of, that's why I play this game. Because if I cared that much about like graphics and presentation, I'd be all over NCAA Basketball 10. But I
Gets it
enjoy,
on the
I
free throw
actually
line.
enjoy
Raises
college
up.
hoops.
The jumper was buried
And
by
yeah,
Schneider.
fuck it. I guess,
Now behind
I don't
by
get the
10.
ESPN
1:37
presentation or the
left in the first
CBS
half.
presentation.
Hunt feeds it to the wing.
I get what's kind of an inferior 2K presentation,
post.
especially a 2K8
Dishes
one.
it to the wing.
I always said that would have been
Blocked.
like that would have been the killer right there, is if they just got a couple more years out of college hoops. They would have they would have gotten some really good presentation out of out of 2K10, because that's really when they started turning, making that big turn into better presentation beyond where it's at right here.
Ends it off. Cruz fires the three. Milton snatches the rebound.
That was a much quicker shot than they might have liked, but it was a pretty open look, so it's tough to fault
So
him.
yeah,
Bounces it to the wing.
I don't really mind it too much. I like
Backs him
this.
down. What a pass.
I should have
Dumps
just,
it
you know
down
what?
low.
Just go. We're good.
The bucket is
Hey!
good, and he'll have a chance for one
Probably
more.
shouldn't have went in,
Terrific
but
work to
whatever.
absorb the contact,
We got
into
it.
the air, and hit the shot. Pretty, Vern.
The 23, your first official 2K was 13. I think, so technically, I guess my first official 2K was NBA 2K. Because I had a cousin who had a Dreamcast. So, yeah, I had a cousin who had a Dreamcast, and he had NBA 2K and 2K1. He wasn't a big basketball guy, though. But at the time, they didn't have a bunch of, Dreamcast games. So, I think that officially was it. But as far as, I got back into it sort of in adulthood. How was that a blocking foul and not a shooting foul? He was in the middle of shooting. Okay.
He completes the three-point play.
And then once I became an adult and moved away from NBA Live a little bit,
Tipped away.
I think I had
But it's
NBA Live,
recovered
different
by Staples.
NBA Live games for my
Gray
PSP.
passes to the baseline.
Oh my god, I love the shit out of that PSP.
Stable dumps it off. From the wing.
I got around to playing
Got it
NBA
off with
2K
time
with
to spare,
2K10.
But the buzzer beater was missed by Cruz. First half comes to
So
an
that's
end.
how I got
The
back
score,
into it.
40-26.
Oh shit.
How about
I
the
got my
happenings in the
controller.
first half, Bill?
I can't think of
The
too
first
much you have to
basketball
say
game
about
is
this
NBA
game so far.
Street.
Maybe you can do play-by-play
My
and
first
color.
basketball game, which I still occasionally kind of go back to, if I fire up my my emulators, is Kobe Bryant's
We're ready
NBA
to begin the second
Courtside
half.
for the N64. That was my first one. Actually, I think even before Kobe Bryant's NBA Courtside, was
Cruz
Microsoft's
inbounds to start the
NBA
second half.
full court
Now
press
let's go down to Tracy
for the
Wilson,
PC.
who has an
There's
update
not a
for
lot
us.
Well,
of
at
video
halftime, I
you
talked
can
with
find
Coach
on
Wilson.
that.
He
You
felt
got to
it
be
wouldn't
super
classy
fucking
to run up the
specific
score and was going
if you
to
want to find
change things
videos
in a
of
way
it.
to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
He
NBA full
continued by
court
saying
press
that his
PC.
players
You could,
responded
I think,
best
find the
when they
trailer
played
for
out
it.
of their comfort zone. By
I
mixing
think that
things
was my
up,
first
he hopes
official
to shake
game.
up the opponent's confidence.
And then not long
Back to
after
you.
that
Well done, Tracy. Thank you.
was Kobe Bryant NBA courtside and NBA hang time. Those are pretty much right around the
Backs
same
him
time.
down. Timba.
Oh,
Sinks it. He's shooting
hey!
100% for the game.
I had a next door neighbor who had a N64, and he had, you know, I liked Kobe Bryant's NBA courtside,
He's 1 for 2
but he
in
had the
game.
cool midway games. He had NBA hang time and NFL
Beats
blitz.
it to the right wing.
I always
Pulls the
loved
trigger.
that.
The 3-ball was good by Shepard. He's shooting 100% from 3-point range.
Sorry, I'm trying to move my face away because I'm trying to get rid of this throat lozenge.
Cole catches it
And it's
left
crunching because that's where I'm at now.
side. Graves gets it right wing. Passes it to the left wing.
So yeah,
Tried to answer back with a
I can always like
Missed
still
by Graves.
distinctly hear.
Didn't have a lot of room out there. and it kept him
Wow!
from
As
getting
soon as I'm
comfortable
done
on
with my
that
throat
shot.
lozenge, I immediately start coughing.
Backs in. Shepard
Life hates me today.
dumps it to the paint. Scrucky lets
Really?
it go.
That was a
Puts it up.
mismatch
Hands
of
the
all
second chance
mismatches,
bucket.
and he couldn't put it down the
15
first
points,
time.
and he leads all in scoring. The Red Raiders have got a lot of ground to make up.
But yeah, that was back in the old days where you couldn't get the likenesses for Michael Jordan for most games.
Skip pass to the free
That
throw
was
line.
that was a big thing back then.
Cruz
For the longest time, even when he was an
Timba
active
corrals
player,
the miss inside.
I'll never
Pressure
forget
kept him from getting a
the
good look.
you know
Tough miss.
number 1 or number 99, and it'll just say like roster player.
Scrucky backs down.
So it's like, oh, there's a guy here. There's a placeholder.
Unloads.
Just, you know,
The shot was
that's
banked
Michael
in
Jordan.
by Timba. By 22. About 9.5 minutes left.
that's what I remember about courtside is the Bulls
Right
had
wing.
number 99 roster player to go along in their lineup.
Harton to end the run. Timba
A
holds it in.
6'6" guard.
That's another rebound for
roster
a team that's
player.
doing a great job on the boards. They've got a big edge there today.
Puts
And
up
I
the
remember
tray.
because
Hands
I think it was like
down.
NBA Live
Texas Tech
2000.
is really struggling.
Like it was like
Graves
you could
goes
play
up
as
for
Michael
Kemp,
Jordan
drops
here
it
at
in.
NBA Live
12
2000.
points, and he's his
I
team's
think that was right
leading
after
scorer.
he. I think that was right after he retired.
Hunt
Oh, yeah, that
gets
was a
it
big
left
thing.
Wing with the shot, connects from long range. He's got 3. Cole brings it up. Graves tosses it up court.
And then, of
The
course,
Red
back
Raiders
that, you
will
know,
take a timeout.
once again after he came back into the league and then he disappeared again, and then you never really saw him in an NBA game until 2K11. I don't want to do. By the way, I'm probably going to be simming this here very, very soon because I'm
Well,
up
it
by
looks like they're
23
getting set to
points,
inbound
so
the
I'm
ball.
probably going to get down to about 6 or 7 minutes, probably about 7 minutes, and call it a game because I'm up by 23 at this point. So
Cole inbounds the ball.
hell, if I get up by 25, I'll probably just call it.
Lead pass inside. Last shot laid in
I
by
say that
Faust.
now
He
that
has
they're
a
going to
great
start like
feel
some
for
sort
the
of weird
game and
comeback.
its timing.
He is such
We'll
an
never get to be
outstanding passer.
up by
What a
25
pass.
points.
Milton slams it home off a sweet lead pass.
Is that like a triple posterizer there? It was at least a double. Does that count as like some weird like double posterizer? Because they really both tried there, and then he just slammed it through.
They're now out in front by 23. Texas Tech.
I feel like
may
that's
have
a
made
rare
some
thing to
changes
have
just
happen.
now. Tracy Wolfson has something for us from near their bench.
The Red Raiders,
Just had an impromptu coaches meeting, Vern.
a lot of yelling about being too deliberate on offense.
See, as soon as I
taking too
talked
long
about trying to get up
shots
to
off.
25
I
points,
sense
it's
Vern,
not
we're
going to
gonna
let me
see
do
a
it.
much faster pace from here on out.
Chewy C.
I meant to pump fake.
Right around 8 minutes left in the second half. Faust hands it off. Unloads. The three-pointer was off.
Trying to remember if there's any like.
Nobody around,
I'm trying to remember any offbeat basketball
Sometimes
games
you can be too wide open.
that I played.
Deflects the pass. The Cyclone will get this one
I
back.
feel like they'd stick out in my mind more, like
McCall
sort of like
didn't sit
the,
for long, and he's coming back into the ball game.
the baseball ones did. Because I didn't have like what you would consider any of like the really good baseball games for my N64. I had Mike Piazza's Strike Zone, and I enjoyed Mike Piazza's Strike Zone.
By 21.
Of course, I was a kid, and then I find out about all these other games, and I'm like, oh, I guess this kind of sucked, didn't it?
And the hoop.
Shepard
shit.
knocks
Oh,
down the
okay.
shot after using the up fake. They're up 57-34. Left side. Cole
Damn it.
skips
I
it
was
to the
looking at
baseline.
something.
Hartman throws it up. No good on the baseline jumper.
Uh-oh.
Shepard gets it right wing. Last shot was buried
Good.
for three.
The
I need to
disparity in threes is
reopen my
tremendous. They're just
my
shooting
chatty.
the lights out.
I moved
And
it.
their
I moved it
opponents
away from the
simply
window
cannot keep up.
that I had it in. So.
Dumps it to the inside. That
Oh
last
my
shot
goodness.
by Opong. He flew in to grab it off the window.
Offensive rebound is about
No,
the
I was
desire
at 26
anticipation.
anyway.
He's shown
There we go.
plenty of both.
Finish this up. Finish these up, and then there you go.
Knocks down the first one. Both teams are going to shake things up a little bit with some subs.
Come on. Come on.
He gets the second to
Perfect.
fall as well.
All right. Sim to the end. Woofa. They started coming back, man. We only won by 13. We were up. Dude, we were up by 26 with 6.5 minutes left. They brought it back to 13. Jesus. Oh, yeah. GoldenEye 007. Slappers only, no odd job. That's usually how it went. All right, ended strong. We only had one loss. This is the Big 12, by the way. This ain't no shit show. You know, this ain't like what was it? You know, when we were in the Sun Belt as Grambling and we would win all of our games. I mean, we're talking like Kansas is kind of meh, but you're talking number 16 Colorado, number 4 Baylor, number 10 Texas. Some top level teams that we only lost one game to. That is fantastic. So we do have 3 games. Jesus. 1, 2. It looks like 3. Do I want to try to skip the Missouri game? God, I don't want to. Like, I want to win, but I also don't want to just like let them beat me. I mean, worst case scenario. Because I kind of want to get to the actual. I want to get a spot in the. I want to get to Selection Sunday, so I want to try to skip through as much as possible. So I'll take a chance. I do believe how solid I am at this point. Okay, we got a solid win there. Kansas State. Where's Kansas State? Look at that. They're 12-19. I'm doing like a just touching, you know, head, chest, 2 shoulders, just Shane McMahon, pray to God before making this jump. Because I don't want to have to do this game either, because I'm pretty sure I can win this game. Pretty sure I could win this game. Just let me win this game, please. Thank you. I'll take that. I'll take the win against Texas. These weren't home games, were they? I don't know. That would really frighten me. Because it just says versus. It doesn't even say at. Like, I don't know if that's because we're... Oh, no. Okay, it tells us where we were at. We were at the American Airlines Center. Yeah, we were in Dallas. That's fine. That's not Hilton Coliseum. We're good. Now I can play this game against... Jesus. Now I can play this game against Texas without worrying too much. So, let me do this real quick. We have retied our record of 19 straight wins at home. Our official home record is up to 54-5. So, I'll leave, I'll probably just leave it there for the game. I could drop it out. That's it. That's it for the season. That's the last time this is going to be needed for the season. So drop that bad boy out. 54-5 is how we're going to end this. We're going to go into next season pretty strong. 19 current game win streak. Here we go. All right, Big 12 championship game and a selection Sunday against Texas. And that's how we can end this College Hoops episode by finding out where we go. By the way, just to re-look at this real quick, if we go to the bracketology, I'd like to see we're still considered a number 1 seed. Despite being number 6 in the nation, we're still considered a number 1 seed. It's weird. Figured at the very least we'd be like, well, let me see who's like number 2. Is UCLA? UCLA's 5. That makes sense. UConn's 3, but they get a number 2 seed. Maybe it's because of how many how many losses they've had. Baylor's 4, but they're a number 2 as well. And then Stanford is 11. Jesus. There we go. All right, Big 12 title match. Let's go. We beat them once. Let's do it again.
Technically beat them twice. 2K8. The Texas Longhorns go up against the Iowa State Cyclones. Welcome to the championship game of the Big 12 tournament. We're here at the American Airlines Center. I'm Vern Lundquist with my partner Bill Raftery and our sideline reporter Tracy Wolfson. Give us your take, Bill.
This game features a great matchup at the point guard position. Hunt is clearly up there with the greatest point guards.
Man, they got
in the
standing
nation.
room
If you
only
drive
over
the
there.
lane when he's down there, you're
And the
taking
people standing all the way up back there.
The Cyclones win the tip-off and the game is
All
underway.
right, let's go.
Backs him down. Throws it up. The offensive
Nope.
gathered by Scrucky.
There we go. Is this the last game of the tournament? Yes, this is the Big 12 championship game right here. Jesus.
Styles.
Blew through Missouri and Kansas State. I don't know how. I want to know who Kansas State beat to get into the semifinals, because there's 4 teams that there's probably at least a couple other teams that they probably beat where it's like, holy shit, how did they manage that one?
He misses the first.
Oh boy. So yeah, and then right after this is Selection Sunday, because it's technically Sunday. So I mean, both of us will end up in between us and Texas. Texas is like number 10, so they're going to end up a top seed anyway. This is really just a formality of who officially wins the tournament. Of course, if we lose this, it probably knocks us off our number 1 spot.
Nearly a three-point opportunity.
He can't get the first.
Only 3 games. Weird. Well, we were one of the. It's 4 games if you're not one of the top seeds. So I think because we were number 1, I think because we won the. We only had what, the 1 loss, and then Texas was like behind us with like 3 or 4 losses in the conference. So as the regular season conference champions, we had a bye.
Kimba kicks it out to the perimeter.
because I think they had play-in
Launches
games
one
for
from
the
beyond
lower
arc.
seeds.
And they call goaltending. They'll give him the bucket.
So I think it's either the first 2 or first 4 seeds get a bye. I think it's the top 2.
Inbounds the ball.
So there is 4 games, but we did well enough we didn't have to deal with that this year.
Left wing. Wellington.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this isn't the tournament.
Dishes
This
to
is
the
just
left.
the conference tournament. We're not in the actual NCAA tournament. Yeah, there's a lot more games with that. Because it's what? The first round, second round, Sweet 16, Elite 8. Oh, boy. I almost went backcourt.
Kimba gets it. Left wing. Pass to the free throw line.
Yeah, I wouldn't just skim through the actual NCAA tournament like that. I don't mind doing it for the conference tournament because there's not as much really on the line here because the 2 teams that are going at, like, I'm going to be a top seed even if I got bounced out in the first round. Maybe not number 1, but probably 2 or 3.
Passes to the wing.
NCAA your clues. I thought basketball had bowl games like
wing.
football.
4-3.
No, it's they have 64 teams for the NCAA tournament, so yeah, single elimination there. So yeah, first, second, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4, and the finals. So you'd have to win 6 straight games to get there.
Scrucky. Almost a three-point opportunity. Instead, he'll go to the line for 2. Shooting 2. And he makes the first. Both teams are going to shake things up a little bit with some subs.
I like how this is clearly, because, you know, American Airlines Center is Dallas. So, like, it's clearly the Dallas colors, just none of the Dallas markings.
Shepard inbounds the ball.
God damn.
Skips it to the low block. Last basket on the
It also
board
makes
by
sense that
Wellington.
we're in Dallas for it, too, considering there's enough Texas teams.
Now
There's
let's
what?
check in with the third member of our team, Tracy Wilson. Tracy?
Texas, Texas A&M,
Coach Wilson.
Texas
This
Tech,
is a moment he is
Baylor.
sure his players have been dreaming about since November, and he admitted that he
Big
had
12,
been too.
and 4 of
He
them are
said
Texas
he's already
teams.
got the spot in the trophy case cleared out for the championship prize. He might be getting a little ahead of himself, but he seemed awfully proud of what they'd already done this season.
Thanks, Tracy. He gets them both.
It's all right. We're still up by 5.
Just over 9 minutes left in the half.
Up. Oh, you know what? Here. Pick and roll.
Caught. Dumps it off.
Kind of confused him. Didn't really do a whole hell of a lot.
The break is on.
I was hoping to do more.
Goodman takes the shot. Good from
Oof.
downtown.
All right.
He's 1 for 3 from deep.
It looks like they're playing man-to-man.
Chewy backs down. With the shot. Right
there
in
we
the
go.
bottom of the bucket. And they're up by 4.
Have him kind of
Wellington
roll
inbounds
into the lane there. Try not to do like some weird fadeaway shot.
Goodman has it. Left
Might
wing.
be able to get a nice layup going. Ah, damn it.
Takes it up. Nice little pump fake.
All right.
But the layup was off
We
the
got
mark
our big
by
men.
Shepard.
We got our big men
Milton
there.
brings it up the floor.
Great
All right,
rebound. The
Chewy.
big fella's not afraid to do the dirty work, Vern.
Chewy drops in
I
the
like
floor.
this. I like this.
They now
I don't want to
go
get
up
my
by 6.
hopes up from how we're doing, but if we can be this competitive against Texas, I could imagine how we could do in the actual tournament.
Swing pass, left wing.
I don't want to jinx myself too much, but I think this is
Sizing
about the
up
best
his
chance
man.
that we've had at actually winning the title, at winning the national
Under
championship
8 minutes left in the
since
half.
the last time we
That's what a
actually won the
coach wants
national
from his defenders.
championship.
Stay with
I
your
think it's
best
the first
shooter
time,
and don't give him any easy looks.
you know, first time as Iowa State, I've really
Dumps
felt
it
like, holy
inside.
shit, we might have a good shot at this.
Milton shoots it, misses, but he'll get 2 shots from the line. Shooting 2. And he makes the first. The Longhorns will bring out some reserves.
Sorry, I was looking at something else real quick. There we go.
Gets the second to fall as well. Styles inbounds the ball. Left wing. Knocked loose. And it's gathered up by Hunt.
Hey,
I like
there you
how he gets
go.
himself into defensive position.
At the right place, at the right time yet again.
All right,
Texas
I like this.
has been on
I
the
like
wrong
this.
side of this long run, and Tracy's got a report for us.
Coach Barnes is frantically talking
Let's
to
keep
his
working on
assistants, trying
defense.
to come up with a
How
plan
great
on
would it be
defense
if
to
I
stop
get
this
so
run.
far
He is
in
not
front?
pleased with their current setup, to say the least.
If I weirdly get far enough in front of Texas of all people that I can just sim part of the game, that would be fantastic.
Leads him in, goes up, led him nicely with the dish, and it's laid in by Alexander. They cut the lead to 8. Kimball
We'll just do that.
shoots from the post, doesn't get it. Alexander
All
has
right,
picked up
well,
his
we drew a
first foul
foul.
of the game. Knocks down the first one.
All right. Yeah, I finally, the third time was the charm on getting a copy of NHL 2K10 for my PS3. I'm very happy about that. Speaking of 2K sports games, why did he take that shot? I didn't tell him to take that shot. Told him to try to pump fake, try to get a better spot, but he's like, nah, I'm just going to throw it behind me like a bouquet of flowers.
Under 7 minutes left in the
Hopefully it'll end up in the hoop.
Kimba gets it middle. Backs him down, and it's
Ah,
scooped up
damn
by
it.
Wellington. Picked him clean.
Well, the game just slows down for him to the point he sees things that others
And
don't.
I got a 2019-2020 roster for NHL
You can't
2K10.
afford to spot the other
which
team any more points for
I had a
Every day from
friend,
letting this game be
a
over
friend slash
before the
coworker
second half.
that it was this weird concept to him that he didn't realize, because he was like, hey, do they still? I think he had maybe kind of a feeling that they maybe still work on rosters for like all their old games. I'm like, oh no, when the new game comes out, officially
Shot clock
the company that makes the game pretty much stops working on the rosters.
Northern takes it up. Great
But if the
anticipation.
game is good enough and there's a big enough fan base, people will make their own rosters.
Pass down low. Flip up and in on that last layup. Texas.
Like they
calls
have,
time.
NHL 2K10, College Hoops 2K8. That one's a bit harder because there's a metric ass load of teams. But yeah,
Coach Barnes
NFL
wants to shake things up
2K5. I
just a
told him,
little
I'm like,
bit.
NFL
And this could be an
2K5 is
excellent
considered
move.
one of the best football
The group
games
of
of all
kids on the
time.
floor play with great chemistry.
Texas
Not to mention
has had
sports games
serious
in
problems with their
general.
interior defense.
15
Tracy
years
has a
old and
report
people
from their
still
bench.
put out
Coach Barnes was talking to
people
his
still put out
assistants a
rosters
second ago
for it,
about
so
that
you can
very
play it with
problem.
new
He said
rosters.
he wants to collapse their defense into the paint and prevent the entry pass. We'll see if it works.
All right, Tracy. Poked away.
Ah.
And it's controlled by Texas.
These people aren't loving it.
Timba's not
Think
doing
it's
so
getting
hot
out
at
of
the
here
in the
or what?
post. I'm glad everyone else is kind of
Wellington catches it. Right
keep
wing.
it, keeping up,
Left wing.
carrying the load that he's
Alexander
not able to carry right
Backs
now,
in.
because it's a minor annoyance. What's so great about NHL 2K10? To be honest, I mean, it's not all that much better
Left wing.
than the
Dishes
than
to
the
wing.
than the EA NHL
Bounces it
games.
to the
In fact,
inside.
like
From close
generally,
range.
it got
Shot
reviewed
was
much
knocked down
worse.
by Timba.
But
They're
I like the way the
24 to
game
12.
feels and the game plays. I mean, there's not.
Texas calls timeout.
It's not like college hoops and NFL 2K and stuff like that, where there's distinct things that are clearly better than the EA
Alexander
version.
inbounds the ball.
I mean, like I said, generally the EA version of NHL games was reviewed much
Cuffy
better.
catches it out
It's
left
just that,
with the
you know,
crossover.
and I'll at least concede that EA baseball games were always better than 2K's baseball games were pretty mediocre. I never really enjoyed them.
They're bringing the double team. Feeds left wing from deep.
But I don't know. I like the way NHL 2K10 played, I played the crap out of it, like all the time. I spent a lot of time playing it, and I don't know. I like the way they control. To be honest, as I've been playing NHL 2K10, I could even concede as far as that's concerned. That as far as how the game feels, that honestly, I do enjoy like some of the new NHL games. I do concede at least that much, where I'm playing NHL 2K10 and I go, okay, yeah, the game just feels better on like, you know, NHL 19.
And they're now down by 11.
But I don't know. I think just you know, a lot of the once it got like into the new generation of once you got into the 360 PS3 generation of games,
Misses the tray.
a lot of the EA Sports games really took a dip. So
The 3-point attempt
2K was
missed
doing
by
pretty
one.
okay with
2:51
a lot
left
of
in the
that
first
stuff,
half.
but
Milton, that was a much quicker shot than they might have
yeah,
liked.
I don't think I've never thought much of EA's NHL games until fairly recently. Like I had oh god, which one did I have that was god awful? I think it was like oh shit, was it 14, 15, something like that? Because I had bought like NHL 12 and it was pretty good. Once NHL 2K10, you know, once obviously NHL 2K wasn't going to be a thing, I bought NHL 12 and it was actually pretty good. I still wasn't a big fan of how it controlled. Compared to 2K10, but I want to say it was 15 because I think that was like the first game I streamed when I actually started streaming, and the gameplay itself wasn't terrible, but the game as a whole was just garbage. Kind of took me off of wanting to buy the games until, like I said, fairly recently again with like 18 and 19.
Dishes it to the right. Backs him down. Caught.
But yeah, I think it's weird to try to put into words other than it feels better than the EA NHL games. And I know there's a lot of people who would disagree with that.
Knocks down the first one. McMillan to make his first
But that's just my own feeling. Like I said, it's harder to explain than say like NHL 2K5, where it's like it's a so much better general football experience. Or like with NBA, where it's a so much better general basketball experience, like gameplay, presentation, all that stuff.
Bounce pass to the stripe. 1-on-1. Cuffy takes the
Is it
shot.
more in depth than
No
today's
good on the baseline
NHL?
jumper.
If they leave a shooter like him open next time, believe me, he's
I
gonna
don't
make
think
them pay
so.
for it.
I think
Finishes in close.
I'm trying to think here.
By 10.
They had never gotten around to putting a My Career mode in it. I think if they still had a couple more years of half decent sales, they probably would have done a My Career mode for it. But I'd say it's
The air ball is put up by Cuffy.
would I say
Texas
it's
is
almost
not
as
doing
in
a very
depth
good job on the
as
boards today.
the
Tracy has a
new as the
report from
ones
their
now,
bench.
because I know they had they had the idea of scratching people, sending them to the minors. So you had like a minor league, you had a full minor league team. It wasn't a licensed team, but you did have a full minor league team you can put people in. I'm trying to think about things that 19 has as far as a franchise mode is concerned that, you know, 2K10 doesn't have.
Martin dumps it off.
I mean, besides like basic owner stuff, you know, stuff that's been in like the real recent games. Like I said, you know, upgrading facilities and you know, like a lot of like owner mode type stuff. Why didn't you back into the paint? I specifically wanted him to back up into the paint and he didn't do it. Also, I think I think he might have been hurt because he really fell down and didn't really get back up.
Foul shot is good for a 3-point play. Zivanovic inbound.
So it's probably slightly less in depth than you know, today's NHL games are. Oh shit!
first half comes to an end with the score.
I spent just a couple extra
33 to
seconds
28.
diddling around. But I
What do you
want to
think
say
of
it
the
might
first
have been a
half,
bit
Bill?
more in
I can't
depth
think
than
of too much good to say about this game, so Vern, maybe
EA's
you can
games
do
at the
play-by-play
time.
and color.
I'd have to look at maybe what NHL 10. I do have copies of NHL 10
Now
because
we'll bring you our player of the half.
when you're trying
Who's
to
your
buy
pick, Bill?
when you're
Jim
trying to
Butler's
buy
been
sports
lights out from the
titles,
floor, Vern. It must feel like he's thrown the
just
ball
about
in the
any
ocean.
place, you
Tremendous
kind of have to
effort from
check
our
what you're
player of
getting.
the half.
Because that's happened to me twice, once with the 360 and once with the PS3, where I had tried to get
We're all set to
NHL
begin the second
2K10 and I got
Coach Wilson
EA's
is
NHL
shaking
10.
things up, and this could spell trouble for the
So
other
I've
team.
I've had
This
that
group has
happen
a
on
lot
2
of team
different
chemistry.
systems now. It's weird.
Styles inbounds it to start the second half. Dumps it down low. Shepard commits the foul.
Shit.
Just missed it. No three-point opportunity.
So maybe I should try EA's NHL 10 and see what their franchise mode is like.
He got it to go. Milton is needed
Hmm.
out on the floor. He didn't get much of a rest.
I do say 2K10 does offer a bit more
second to fall
depth
as well.
as far as
Let's send it down to Tracy Wilson.
During halftime,
between
I talked with
periods
Coach
went,
Wilson. He said that
because
he
they
wasn't
actually
satisfied with
did
the
like
small lead and he's
licensed
going to
Sirius
try to force
XM
the issue
NHL
in the
stuff
second
between
half. He went
periods.
on to say that he wasn't
So I
going
do
to
gotta
mix up
say
the
that is one
rotation.
thing they
Even though
have.
he knows he
I
has talent
I
on
could
the end
mention
of
the
his bench,
Zamboni
he felt that
machine,
the
but I
players
feel
he
like
used in
riding the
first half
Zamboni
give him the best
is such
chance
a
of winning this
negligible
game,
thing.
and he won't
I
stray
was like,
from
you're
that
gonna ride
game
the
plan.
Zamboni
Back to
between
you.
periods
Nice
and clean
work,
the
Tracy.
ice. It's like, it's
The 11-footer was good by Shepard. He's 1 for 3 for the game.
To be fair, EA has always
Leads him
been
with the
terrible
pass.
about like the
Milton,
in
7
between,
feet out.
times, like either
Shooting
halftime shows
100%
or
for the game.
in between period
Leads him
intermissions.
Zivanovic gets the board
EA's always been
inside.
terrible with that.
Shepard tosses it up court. Milton backs him down. He's doubled up.
Really? How could he not pivot around him? That was such a huge mismatch.
Goodman catches it right wing.
Still up by 5. That's not bad. Oh my God,
Wellington
my
kicks it out to the
throat.
corner.
Why?
The basket was
I
buried
feel
by
it
Stevanovic.
coming on. I feel the cough
5.
coming on. Not
Shepard
much I can
hands it
really
off.
do about it.
Shepard snatches the rebound. Still a 2-point lead. Inside. Shepard uses the crossover.
I should just be
The last shot
gargling
played
hot water
gently in.
afterwards,
You know he's not missing that one.
just to
The
see if
D
I
needs
can
to try and
just
keep with the
loosen
Vern.
up all the
Gets
crap in
vertical.
my throat.
The lead pass sets up the flush by
All right,
Milton.
well,
10
at least
points,
we're
and he's his
still
team's
having a
leading
lead.
scorer. Just over 10
Man, we
minutes
are
left in the
real
second
bad
half.
with keeping a lead. This
Dicey pass.
these last
Wellington
couple of
goes
weeks.
up. He gets
Oh my
hammered,
God!
And he'll head to the stripe.
Trying not to be too noisy.
The teardrop. The Cyclones will
I
make
don't
some
enjoy
substitutions.
that. I don't enjoy when people are that noisy with games. I was watching some YouTube of
Wellington
people.
goes up. He gets the ball.
I want to be like broad,
There's no question what kind of
but
defense
certain
they're in,
people
Vern. Minute.
playing games where I go, oh man, I haven't played that game. That's a classic game. I haven't played the game in like 20 years. This is a
Chewy
classic
with
game.
the
It's really
charge.
cool.
That will be his second
And
foul
then
of the game. He took a
You
licking
watch
on that
someone
one,
play
but he
it
took his medicine
who
and got the charge.
Love
also
that.
hasn't
Put his
played it in
body
a
on the
while,
line
but then
for
you
the
just
team.
watch them
Onions.
do things that it's like, how have you managed to screw things up this badly? How do you manage to play the
Wellington gets
game
it left side.
this badly
Right shot, wrong result.
and earn money streaming
Skip
this?
pass out left. Shepard backs down.
Just
stolen by Texas.
Listen to the
not
crowd,
even
Vern.
minuscule
He's driving
sums,
his
but
fly. I
like
love college
good
basketball.
sums of money to play to
Shepard
really badly
Gets
play
it in the paint. The last layup
a
is by
20-plus-year-old
Stevanovic.
game.
Shepard inbounds the ball.
That's how you make him pay. Solid defense.
It did kinda
resulting
wanna
in
make me
scoring
play.
opportunities.
play some of those games. I don't know. Fire up the old N64 emulator and play some of those games again.
Swings it to the wing.
Or like now with Super NES on Switch, you play some like Link to the Past.
And he can score in several different ways.
My
If you
roommate
don't double
is.
him, he will find a way to
I told
beat
him
you.
about. I think I mentioned in passing Link's Awakening to him,
Passes
like
to
the
the right
remake
wing.
that's coming out.
The three
And he
was
said
off
that he
target
would
by
be
Stefanovic.
totally.
Here is
He's
the
like, I'd
break.
probably buy
The
a
finisher.
Switch
Laid
if they
in by
remade a Link to the
Stefanovic.
Past like that.
They now lead
I'm like,
by
hey,
4.
Link's
Here
Awakening
comes
does
the double
well.
team.
I
Iowa State
wouldn't
is
put it
shooting
past
itself
him.
in the foot with all the turnovers. Tracy
There
has
we
it.
go, Jesus.
Coach Wilson is not sure.
Lid off hoop.
He told his assistants our fundamentals are abysmal, and then added, the only players I want on the floor right now are the ones that can take care of the ball.
All right, Tracy. Errant last shot by Shepard. How did he miss that one?
It happens. He's just got to shake it off and reload.
Come on.
Shepard backs down. Slides in with a soft finger roll.
There we go.
And it's all knotted up. Under 8 minutes left in the second half.
I just gotta calm it down just a little bit. We're getting rambunctious in this game. We're just putting the pedal to the metal here,
He's double teamed.
and I just gotta
Easy
make
look.
sure to
It's
slow it
well
down,
shot.
take good
The
shots.
big fella with a tough rebound.
You can never get
No
into Zelda
denying
for
him
some
on that
reason.
one.
I think it really depended on the game. I liked Breath of the Wild. I never finished Breath of the Wild.
Has it right
I think
side.
it's because I got into a bunch of
Stefanovic
different other
dishes to the
games, but
wing.
yeah, I never ended up finishing it.
Left
But
wing.
yeah, I felt
Passes
there were a couple
back to
times I
left
felt
wing.
real stupid
Releases.
in the game
Would
because
have
I'm like,
grabbed the
oh
lead,
man,
but
this is a
it's
really
missed
hard
by
part. Why does this feel
They're
really
still
hard?
down 5.
Like there was a point where you're going up to like
Shepard
a
with the shot.
mill, I
Style.
think, some sort of
Snatches it
mill
down
that
inside.
like creates like
There's no arguing
magic
that
or
call.
something.
He
I forget what
definitely
it
got
was now
hacked.
because I haven't played it in like a year. And you have to light these lanterns. Now, what I did was I took arrows and lit them on fire and then shot the arrows at the lanterns all the way up. What I didn't realize until afterwards that I could have just done was go chop down a tree, grab a stick, light it on fire, and just walk up the
Love
path,
to see that.
lighting up the
Slurping
lanterns
around then
as I
pounce.
went.
Such a thief burn.
They're ahead.
So I made what was a
50 to
super
45.
hard task,
Milton backs in.
what was a super
to the wing.
monotonous,
Hunt
easy
fires
task
the
that probably
three.
would have taken me
Milton
5 minutes
snatches
tops
the offensive rebound.
into like this
Finished
hour-long
nicely
thing.
down low on that last shot.
You just can't let him get that close.
That
to
is
the
one
basket,
thing
Vern.
that
He rarely misses from inside.
I think I took a break from Zelda at that point,
Passes.
but
Low block.
I didn't mind
Shoots
Breath of
the
the Wild.
three.
I think some of the
Collected
older
inside by
games,
Stein.
like I
That
played a
offensive
little bit of
rebound didn't come
Ocarina
to
of
him by
Time,
accident.
but I
He
didn't
knew
really.
right where to be.
I think it really depends on the game. Like it's I don't know. I feel like there's probably also a
Makes it
lot of
first.
people who would be into the 3D games, but maybe not the 2D
Gets the second to
top-down
fall as
stuff.
well.
So like when they occasionally do that, it's like, don't really care.
Rises and dishes. Milton shoots from the post. Gets it to fall. Nice
And then
look
of
by
course there's
Hunt.
probably people
3
who
assists,
do,
and
you
he
know, the
leads both
top-down
teams in
type
that category.
games that
Stefanovic passes way
probably
down
hate
court.
some of the 3D ones. I could never
Gets it
get
on
into
the free
Majora's
throw line.
Mask.
Last shot dunked
That was
down by
one.
Alexander.
What a look. How sweet that was.
I was okay at Ocarina of
Takes it up.
Time. It was never
The
great.
layup was banked in by Timbo. They're
I
now
didn't
behind
really.
by
I
3.
I
Just
liked
over
it,
5
but
minutes left
I don't
in the
know.
second
Maybe it's
half.
one of those things. If I played it again, I'd be okay. Wind Waker, I didn't mind Wind Waker.
Lead pass to the paint. Puts it up. Connects inside the key.
You played Majora's
Tremendous
Mask
pass
when you
by
were younger, you couldn't
Stefanovic.
finish it.
3
Yeah.
assists, and he
Same with
leads his team
Ocarina
in
of Time
that
with me.
category.
I couldn't. A lot of those Legend of Zelda games, like
He couldn't get it that time.
I don't know. It's
And the D
weird.
did a
Like,
great
I
job of
feel like
making it
any of
tough
those
on him.
games that take like 50 hours to
Alexander.
complete, I'm perfectly fine with that. I would never complain about a 50-hour
Alexander catches
campaign
it on the
game.
inside.
Both teams have been absolutely on
I
fire.
wouldn't
How can you
complain
not
about
love this
that
kind of action?
Here's the double team.
because they
It's stolen
took
by
the oh my
Stevanovic.
god.
The intercept.
Can I not,
Great
please?
reflexes. He
All right,
pounced
take a
in
timeout because
and
we're down by
picked that
10.
one off easily. Coach Wilson is going to let his team have it. He just can't be happy.
All right, let's see if we can turn this around.
The Cyclones will take a timeout.
We
Both
just
teams
took a
will make some
timeout, for
substitutions.
God's sake.
Zivanovic inbounds the ball.
There we go.
Hacked on the way up, and he'll get 2 shots at the line.
But yeah, I would never complain about that, but I don't know. Sometimes I just can't complete those games. Most of those 50 hours to complete games I never end up completing. I don't know. Either I get sidetracked with something or I don't know. I
Gets
just
them both. Northern is
I
back
don't
in
know.
the game after a short rest.
I think if it could be done in
The
like
Longhorns with a chance
10,
for a
12 hours,
double-digit lead.
20 at
Stolen away
most,
by
I could
Iowa
probably
State. Last shot
I
laid
could
in by
you know, I
Penyazola.
finished games like
Texas
that. I
calls
finished
time. Martin
20 and
didn't
under
sit for
hour
long, and he's
games.
coming back into the ball
And
game.
it's the 50-hour ones that's just like,
Just over 4 minutes left in the second half. Feeds, high post. Martin.
Jesus.
Gets it outright. Styles connects from the right block. They extend the lead to 8. Penyazola skips it to the wing. To the elbow.
All right, I need to
Passes
be
the left
kind of
side.
selective about what I'm doing.
Scrucky, the shot.
Right,
down low.
come on.
Wheels it in.
Put the ball in. Ball in
Shepard
hoop.
Inbounds the ball.
Shit.
Martin with the
Shit.
ball.
Shit.
The Longhorns use their second to last timeout.
right.
Northern got a quick breather, but they need him back on the floor.
Nope. Oh, get there. Get back in the paint.
Backs down.
All right, down by 6.
They
Everything's
rule this
okay.
one goaltender.
Fuck you. It was out. It was coming out of the hoop.
Was needed out on the floor. He didn't get much of a rest.
Come on. Come on. Don't let them regroup right now.
Dumps it to the middle. Scrucky,
There we go.
graceful finish.
Maybe it's because there's no level up
With a
system.
beautiful setup,
Because
4
you beat
assists,
playoff
and he
teams
leads
to
his
would
team in
do
that
no
category.
problem. That might be it. I think, yeah, because I've beaten Borderlands. Borderlands is, I don't know how big Borderlands is considered, but I probably put at least, I probably put that 50-hour time into that. Oh my God.
And it's scooped up by
That might be
Styles.
it, not having that level up
Left of the
system.
game. Dishes to the middle. The monster
'Cause, yeah,
slam.
I think a lot of the games
got
that
another.
I,
It's deflected.
a lot of the games that
Cyclones
I've
will get
beaten
this one back.
that, you know,
Northern didn't
had
sit for
long
and he's coming back into the
campaigns
ballgame.
usually had like
Shepard
another
inbounds the
small
ball.
goal to work towards.
Leads him with the pass.
You know.
The steal. The Longhorns
What
can
the
push their
fuck?
lead to double digits.
That assist came from him knowing where
Okay,
his
well,
teammate
I
was
think
going to be
it's
before he got
GG
there.
because
That's
we're
what's fault.
we're collapsing right now. So I'm just gonna call it. I'm just not gonna waste my time at this point. They came back a little bit, but I'm just not gonna waste my time. Those last few minutes. Fuck, dude. We popped up to number 5. That's not seed, I assume. We still did extremely well.
Good evening and welcome. I'm
Let's see
Greg
where I
Noble
end
here
up.
with my
That
partner,
might either
Clark
drop me
Kellogg,
to like number
bringing
2
you the 2K
in
Sports
the
NCAA selection
seeding.
show. We're all set to show you the seedings and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet, get
Yeah,
those pencils
yeah,
ready.
we
Before
know.
we get into the brackets for the upcoming tournament,
Iowa
let's
State
take
number
a look
5.
At the final top 25 media poll.
All right,
There
we did
are
good.
a couple of shakeups as we get
Gonzaga.
ready for March Madness. The big change
Oh,
is the
there's
new
Loyola.
team in the number 1
Loyola.
slot, the
That's
Vanderbilt
Maryland.
Commodores. climbed to the #1 spot after a terrific finish to their season. The Arizona
Central
Wildcats
Michigan.
had been the #1 team. but
Vanderbilt,
stumbled after
#1,
spending 2
UConn,
weeks at the
Arizona,
top.
Baylor.
There was also a big move
Let's see,
made up the
Georgia,
poll. The Maryland Terrapins
Alabama,
jumped all the way
Seton
from
Hall.
the #25 spot to #19.
They're peaking
Maryland,
at just the right
Richmond.
time, Greg. This is exactly the way you want to
Kentucky's
be
all the way
playing
down
going
at
into the tournament.
24.
Now let's take a look at the NCAA tournament bubble and see which teams
Iowa's
are sitting
on
at
the
home
bubble.
with their fingers
Texas
crossed,
Tech,
hoping to see
Indiana.
their name in the brackets. There are a lot of worthy candidates among these 10 teams.
A lot of
Clark,
Big Ten
which of
teams
these
on the
bubble
bubble.
teams stands out to you right now? The Vanderbilt Commodores are the
Vanderbilt,
on to the second,
Arizona
Iowa
State.
Cyclones
Oh,
are
shit,
our
we kept our
third
#1
seed,
spot.
and they'll play
Look at that,
in the
Midwest,
Regional.
#1 in
They're
the
back
Midwest
tournament again,
Regional.
and no doubt they'll be feeding off the experience
Damn.
of last year's appearance as they try to get to the Final Four this year. And finally, our
This is what, the
fourth
second
#1
time
seed
we've
will
had a
play
#1
in the
seed?
West Regional. The
I think we
Connecticut
were a
Huskies
#1
are in the
seed
tournament
somewhere
field
when
as the
we
#1
were
seed
doing San
for the
Diego
7th
State,
time
right?
in the history of their program.
I think
Now, here's how the brackets shape up.
either
based on where the
we
#1
did
seeds have been
or
assigned.
we
In
didn't,
one
and this is the
national
first time I've
semifinal
ever
game,
been because
the
we only
winner
had
of
like the
East
one
Regional will
shot.
play the winner of the
We
South
probably did
Regional
with
in the
Gonzaga
other
because we did have that
semifinal game.
perfect
The
season
winner of
until
the
we
Midwest
lost in the
Regional
Final
will
Four. So
play
I
the winner of
guarantee
the
one
West
of the
Regional.
times.
Those games will be played
One of the
on
times
Saturday,
was,
April 4th. Then it'll be on to
was,
the national
Gonzaga.
championship game on Monday night. First up, we take a look at the East Regional. The Vanderbilt Commodores are the top
Vanderbilt
seed, and now
playing
the
winner,
#8 seed,
Washington
the
State, Washington.
Cougars.
Interesting.
Loyola, Maryland comes in as the #5
Well,
seed.
Maryland
finishing
Air
at 12th.
Force.
Maryland enters the field as the
Maryland and
the Richmond
Pepperdine.
Spiders are
Richmond
in as the
and
#6
Iowa.
seed.
Well, Iowa
They'll be
got
taking
in.
Stanford comes in as the #3 seed.
Stanford
finishing at
and
25
Maryland
and
Eastern
9.
Shore.
Our #7 seed is from the Big Ten.
Ohio State,
Next
Charlotte.
up is the #2 seed. The
UCLA
Bruins
Prairie
have
View
established
got in.
themselves as one of the best teams from the Pac-10.
Prairie View
They'll be
was
going up against the
somewhere
#15
around the middle
seed,
when it came
the Prairie View
to
Panthers, with
Sun. I think
23
it was
wins.
no
This is their
Southwest
third appearance in the
SWAC
NCAA
teams. I
tournament
think
in the history of their
when I
school.
was in.
Next up, we'll
I
take a
can't
look
remember
at the
exactly
South Regional.
where they were at.
The Arizona State Sun Devils are
Arizona
the top
State,
seed.
State
Cal
Francis,
comes in as the #8 seed.
California,
Finishing at ninth,
Tennessee,
Colorado enters the field as the
Colorado,
#5 seed from the Big
UW
12. This
Milwaukee.
marks their 16th
Interesting.
appearance. All Florida State comes in as
Florida
the
State,
#4
UC
seed,
Santa Barbara.
finishing at and now the #6 seed.
Louisville,
the
Old
Michigan State
Dominion,
Spartans
Michigan
are in
State,
as the
Northern
#3
Iowa's
seed.
back in.
They'll be taking on the #14 seed.
They're a 14
Next
seed,
up
but
is
whatever.
the #7 seed. The Virginia Tech Hokies
Virginia
are
Tech,
the regular
Providence.
seed. Our #2 seed is from the Big 12.
Baylor,
the Baylor
Vermont.
Bears were rewarded for their outstanding
Oh, I didn't
play
even know
this season
Vermont
with
had an
at-large bid
NCAA
and a ticket
team.
to the Big Dance. They're going to play the
I
#15
didn't even
seed, the
know
Vermont Catamounts,
that was
who
a
came in
thing.
first in their
I mean,
conference tournament, finishing at
if
19
I'm sure
and
New
12.
Hampshire
This
and
bracket has the
of course
potential to
Rhode
give us a
Island has one
sensational
and
matchup in
Montana
the
has
regional
one.
final if
I don't know why I'm
everything goes
shocked that
on to our
Vermont
third
would
bracket of the day.
also
Let's take a
be
look at the Midwest
there.
Regional. The Iowa State Cyclones are the top seed.
Coastal
finishing at 20.
Carolina.
Our #8 seed is from the Big
Wisconsin,
10. The
UNLV.
Wisconsin
Well,
Badgers
UNLV
were
dropped to
rewarded for their
number
outstanding
9
play
seed,
this
but they
season
still
with
did
an
pretty
at-large.
good.
The LaSalle Explorers are in as the #5
LaSalle and
seed.
Yale.
They'll be taking on the Villanova. Enters the field as the
Villanova,
#4 seed
Eastern
from the Big
Washington.
East. It's yet another appearance in the brackets for a school that's no stranger to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
St. Louis
yeah, we
comes in as the #6
St.
seed,
Louis and
finishing at 20 and
Fuck.
now the #3 seed. Some of the lower seeds in this bracket have the ability
Shit.
to not only
I didn't mean
compete with
to
the high
move
seeds,
forward that
but win
much.
a few games. The
Since I'm
potential for a
Minnesota,
Cinderella
Texas,
or
and
two in this
Eastern
bracket
Illinois.
is definitely there. And the Connecticut
stop
Huskies
coughing.
are the top seed, finishing at 25
SC
and 7.
Upstate.
They were conference tournament champions. In the next up is the #8 seed.
Syracuse,
Central
St.
Michigan comes in as the
Central
#5
Michigan,
seed.
Nevada.
Seton Hall comes in as the
Seton Hall and
#4
Army.
seed. Our #6 seed is from the West
Gonzaga,
Coast.
Toledo.
The Alabama Crimson Tide are in
Alabama,
as the #3
Niagara.
seed. And now the #7 seed. The
Kentucky,
Wildcats
Illinois.
come into
That
the
should be
tournament as
interesting.
Arizona enters the field
Arizona,
as the #2
Northwestern
seed from the
State.
Pac-10. It's yet another appearance in the brackets for
I like
school
that there's a
that's no
Northwestern
stranger
State.
to
It's
the
clearly
NCAA tournament. They'll be
Louisiana,
getting ready to
which
face
is weird
the
that it's called
#15
Northwestern
seed. The
State.
Northwestern
I guess
State
Northwestern,
Demons finished the
Louisiana.
season with 16 wins.
The Arizona
Vermont
Wildcats.
sports.
On the
Yeah.
surface, Clark, how do you view this year's top 16?
Maybe I haven't
There you
agreed
go,
with the
number
selection committee
one.
every year, but I think they did a great
Thought
job
for sure,
this time.
like
The top
Texas
16
would
looked just about right
take
to
that
me.
spot over.
Georgia.
I guess not. I guess we beat them enough times in the regular season to make
Now,
it
let's bring the
worth
conference
it.
picture into focus. The Big
Big
East
12 is
gets
4
8
teams. I
teams.
figured we'd have a
The
couple
Pac-10
more.
with 7. 6
Big
out of
East
the
has
Big
a
10.
lot
The
in this one.
SEC
Holy
gets
shit.
5
It's like
teams.
most of their
What a
conference
down
got
year
in.
for the non-power conferences. We're used to seeing
Pac-10
at least
and
one of
Big
those
Ten did
conferences
really
compete on the
cleaned up
level
as
of-
Here's the
well.
list of the teams that were on the bubble heading into
Let's
Selection
see.
Sunday.
Virginia's
So,
out.
partner,
Texas.
which of
Oh
those
yeah, because
invitees
Texas
should
Tech
be
was out.
sending the selection committee a thank
They had
you
a
card?
pretty
Illinois
a decent
had a few
shot.
quality wins this season that made them stand out above the other.
Thanks,
That's
Clark.
all right.
I'm sure.
Cool. Now, clearly, we're going to kick their ass. But I'm going to save this, and I'll just sim it real quick. I'm going to refuse if I lose. I shouldn't lose. But if fucking the gods of basketball rain hellfire upon me, I'm just going to back out of this. Okay. I was like, you better not. I'm doing good. All right, UNLV number 9. I'll take that. I think they should be about as good as I am, yeah. UNLV's been pretty good. All right, so let's see where we sit now after going through the first round. I'm trying to think in my brain. Northern Iowa got destroyed by Michigan State. I'm not surprised. Let's see if there's anything interesting that happened bracket-wise. Oh, my goodness. Air Force got a win over Loyola. That one's interesting. Double-digit team winning is always kind of fun. Connecticut, Syracuse. Nevada beat Central Michigan. Okay, I mean... Toledo beat Gonzaga. Shit. Poor Gonzaga couldn't get out of the first round. And then Toledo went on to beat Alabama. Toledo is in the Sweet 16 against Kentucky, of all people. Kentucky managed to keep their wits about them and get to the Sweet 16. That's amazing. Toledo has managed to Cinderella their way into the Sweet 16. Meanwhile, Old Dominion beating Louisville. Okay, that's interesting. Eastern Washington beat Villanova by a hefty margin, too, by 18 points. Jesus. Why is that even there? There's not even hardly a need for that. But Eastern Washington beat Villanova by 18. Jesus. Delbert Covington did not put that. Look at that. 3 for 10, 4 for 17. The shooting was awful. Meanwhile, you got 8 for 10, 3 for 5, 6 for 8, 3 for 3. You had people just on fire there. 9 for 11 from behind the line. Rice beating St. Louis. And then they beat Georgia. So Rice is the number 11 team in the Sweet 16. There you go. Cincinnati beat Texas. That makes my life a little bit easier in case I would have to... Rice and Cincinnati in the Sweet 16. So let me see here. I have got... Oh my God, where am I? So LaSalle beat Eastern Washington. I've got UNLV, which should be... I'm not going to say easy, but should help. And then I've got LaSalle in the Sweet 16 if I make it there. And then I would... Oh my God, dude. So I think the biggest challenge I have right now, UNLV, let me see. LaSalle's a number 5 ranked. It was a number 5 seeded team. I want to see where they sit. They got a lot of decent guys. They got about the same level of guys I think that we do. So, Jesus. But if we get past UNLV and we get past LaSalle, we would face the winner of Rice and Cincinnati in the Elite Eight. And, yeah, that would be... Well, actually, they're not... They're both half-decent teams. You know, they say 7 and 11 seeds, but they're literally almost as good as I am at number 1 seed. things just went there, didn't quite go their way. Baylor's up there, so if I get to the Elite Eight, possibly face Baylor. Arizona State's still there though. Colorado. You never know. Either way, we're at least to the first round, and we got the official NCAA tournament coming up after in the next one. Whoops. Just to make sure. Felt a little weird. So yeah, I got through the first round. Easy enough. It was a number 16 seeded team. We got UNLV in the second round, and we'll see how we go from there. Let's see. Second, Sweet 16, Elite 8. So I could see me getting, if I get to the Final Four, I'd probably stop at the Final Four for the next one, if I get that far, which very possible. So there we go. Yeah, I'll have something after here for you guys. Like I said, I think I was talking about quickly doing NBA 2K14, trying to finish up that last game, that game 7 of the finals. It'd be a shorter thing, probably like less than an hour, because I don't think there's a whole lot I'd have to do in the off season, but I can quickly deal with that. So let me just end this video so I could do that. So thank you guys for coming out. Like I said, I'll probably have something after this. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for continuing to watch. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.